JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 6th of May 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, guys, so yep, I hope you're all having a wonderful start of this day. I can see in the chat room here already. Good morning. Yes, Evu, good morning to you too. Good morning to everybody else, of course. But yeah, guys, jumping into the charts now. The first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and finally the index is open after kind of a prolonged holiday. So yeah, I mean the first day of this week being open, yep, Nikkei is now pushing nicely to the upside and climbing above the high of the 26th of April, and that's last week's high. So it pushed above it and stayed above it, and that level is around the 29,241 territory, approximately around here. At the same time, the index managed to stay above the 21-day EMA, and this way kind of indicating its willingness to move higher. So of course, let's not rush into anything yet, but let's go slowly, step by step. So for now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, yes, I'm going to aim for some higher levels. The next good area of resistance is around here near this 29,519 zone, which recently acted as a good area of support and then resistance as well. So, but if that gets cleared, well, I mean, higher levels could be met, guys, and where we could then aim for the, this is where I'm going to adjust this level a little bit, where we're going to aim for that 30,064 mark, which is the high of the 9th of April. And then, of course, around here we have this downside line, which could also provide a bit of a resistance. So for now, long story short, I would say if the index continues to trade above the 21-day EMA or this 29,241 territory, yes, I will continue aiming slightly higher. Shanghai Composite as well, looking quite interesting, and it's still open. It's currently in the positive territory. Initially, it was in the red, but as you can see, so far, this little short-term upside line taken from the low of the 15th of April continues to provide support. So what I need here right now is, of course, a push above the 3,496 territory, the one that I mentioned previously. I'm still looking at that level. All this area here for me is slightly kind of maybe on the neutral side, or maybe I would say even cautiously, very cautiously bullish. Yes, if it continues to trade above this upside line, then yes, there is a chance for this one to push higher. But to get a little bit more excited with that idea, yeah, I would like to see a push above the 3,496 territory right here. For the downside, it's a little bit of a difficult one because basically a nice good break of this upside line, the short-term upside line, and a drop below the 3,417 territory, somewhere around here, marked by the low of last week. Yes, could open a door towards lower levels, but don't forget that we're currently stuck in this little rising channel pattern. So that's why I would say for now, probably with the downside, a lot of breaks here should happen before we could get comfortable with the downside. Now, in the ideal scenario, I would like to wait maybe for a drop below this the 3,373 territory right here. That's marked by the lowest point of April. At the same time, we could also drop below the 200-day EMA, and well, more sellers could join in. In general, I mean, some of you probably are looking at this maybe as a potential, maybe bearish flag, or like just a nice little correction before another move lower, because the prevailing trend here before entering this range was to the downside. So again, I don't want to overcomplicate life here. I would rather go step by step and stick to certain levels. So that's why, for example, for the upside, I need to see a push above this barrier. For the downside, I would preferably like to see it drop below the 3,373 territory first. Now jumping into the German index, DAX, and look at this beautiful recovery yesterday. And this is what I talked about with you guys yesterday. So what I said that yes, we might see a bit of a recovery, but if it struggles to get back above the 15,072 territory, then yes, another slide could be possible. But if it climbs back above it, this is where I'm gonna take a bit of a neutral stand, and I'm gonna wait and see, because for me, for the upside, in order to go for some higher levels, I would prefer actually to aim for this 15,268 territory here. This is the current high of this week, and if we get a clear break above it, then yes, higher levels could be met. But if we don't get that break, well, I mean, I'm still gonna stick to the neutral side. Now, if we take a look at the cash index and where the index is currently sitting at, we'll see that the price is currently at around 15,167. So basically not far from where it closed yesterday. It's hanging around here, so that's why for now we will take a bit of a pause here. And like I said, I said to you yesterday that if it climbs back above this hurdle here, I'm going to take a neutral stand, because for me, for the upside, I need to see that pop above the 15,268 zone. The FTSE 100. So FTSE 100 is, well, doing quite well, I would say, and look at this beautiful recovery yesterday, and it pushed higher and even managed to overshoot the 7,040 mark here, and well, but it just closed fractionally below it. And look at this, I mean, look at the importance of this level here. Yes, we had an overshoot, but it still drifted, it kind of drifted a little bit lower and stayed below it. Now, However, the cash index, if we look at it right now, we'll see that the cash index is slightly above this area right now. So it's above the 7,040 territory. Now, if we continue to trade above that 7,040 zone, yes, we will continue aiming higher, guys, and we'll aim for the upside. And of course, yes, well, I mean, I wouldn't say that the sky's the limit here, but we could start aiming for these levels that we've tested previously back in 2020. So, yep, there are a bunch of levels here. For example, one of the first ones to keep an eye on is somewhere around here. Let me just quickly adjust this, guys. There we go. So approximately around here, the 7,131 territory, and as you can see, that's the lowest point of December of 2019. So if you want to go for the upside, and let's say if you want to aim for something higher than here, then well, I mean, this 7,131 territory becomes quite an interesting one to watch. But like I said, in the scenario only if we see the price continuing to balance above this 7,040 zone. Now DXY, the dollar index, so still struggling with this 91.42 territory. So I spoke about this yesterday. This 21-day EMA, of course, is also providing that resistance. So in other words, I would say if you want to go for some higher levels, guys, wait, because again, for now, this is not really looking, let's say, yes, it is looking somewhat positive, but we're still not getting getting that break. We need that break before, let's say, getting comfortable with higher levels. So keep your eyes on that one. Gold. Gold very quickly on this one. So yeah, I mean, managed to move away again from its 21-day EMA, from the 1760 zone to the upside, of course, and now we're coming back to this 1798 territory. So can we overcome it? Well, I mean, for now, this is what I'm leaning to. It seems that everything's looking quite positive. However, guys, I said before, and I'll say it again, I need that confirmation break first before getting excited with the upside. And preferably, if we get that break, I would like to also see the daily candle staying above the 1798 zone, and then yes, higher levels could be met. So for now, long story short, we are aiming for this area right here and for the 1788 zone, but if that gets cleared, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. WTI oil. So very interesting developments here. So yesterday we pushed higher and we managed to overcome this 66.18 zone, or we can round it up here towards the 20. We managed to overcome it. We overshot it, but as you can see, by the end of the day, the commodity corrected back down, and now basically the question here is, can we see another pop here? So in other words, last time when I covered this one, I said that if we clear this highlighted territory here, the 63.80 zone again, then we climb back above it, then my next target is the 66.18, which worked out perfectly, so great news. Now what we can do here is, first of all, we have to take a careful approach again, and I'm going to shorten this arrow here a little bit, yep, there we go. One moment, just a second. Let me just shift this a little bit right here. So for now, basically the idea here is that if we get another pop above the 66.20 territory, if we see the kind of the daily candle continuing to trade above it, then yes, my next target is the highest point of March near the 67.94 zone, and of course then we'll go slowly, step by step, to the upside. But at the moment, that's the game plan. But let's not forget that we had already kind of decent run here to the upside. Yeah, I mean, for now, we'll be very careful. We have this upside line here taken from the low of the 5th of April, which is currently still in play. And another thing, let me double check something, if that's going to work out or not. So there we go. So we have ourselves a nice, beautiful channel. There we go, guys. So, okay. Basically, still with the upside, the same idea remains valid. Yes, we need to see a pop above this area, but for the downside, now I could start looking at lower levels if we get a break below this lower bound of the rising channel, and if we do see that, then my next target is this one, the 60.64 zone that I spoke about previously, and as you can see, it previously acted as a very nice area of support. So basically, long story short, if we get a break below this below the lower side of the rising channel, then yes, we could aim for this 60.64 level. Now, Bitcoin Cash, and okay, so wonderful movement here, if we can put it this way. Look at this explosion yesterday. I mean, boom, guys. I mean, and let me just double check something very quickly. Did we reach? No, still. So we still have plenty of room here if we compare it, of course, to the 2018-19 activities here, or actually mainly more of a 2017-18 there. So yeah, 2019 we were kind of a little bit on the downside. So if we compare it to 2017-18 activity here, then well, we do have plenty of room still. Looking at this picture right now, yes, we are correcting lower, but I would say that if it stays above the this 1218 territory marked by the highest point of April, then yep, another push higher could be possible, and then yep, we could go further north. If it starts falling below this 1218 zone, maybe a bit of a corrective move could be possible. Let me just reuse this arrow. So maybe a push back to this area right here. Let me just, there we go quickly. So towards the 1041 zone here, yep, could be possible. So let's keep an eye on this one, and let's see how this is going to play out. But for now, guys, this move lower, for now, it is classed as a temporary correction, especially if it stays above the 1218 zone. Jumping into a few pairs, AUD CAD. So, by the way, in terms of the economic calendar, guys, today we do have I would say, pretty busy day today. We have the UK, a lot of data from UK. We have the Norwegian interest rate. We have the ECB economic bulletin. UK will provide us with their composite and services PMIs. Those are expected to have improved. Then we have the European retail sales, and followed by the BOE inflation report together with the BOE interest rate decision. So big meeting today, guys. Suggestion to keep an eye on that one, to keep an eye on the British pound as well. So I'll get to that in a bit. Also, we have the Turkish central bank kind of delivering its 1 week repo rate for May, so that's going to be quite interesting as well. Let's see how that's, because they need to do something with their currency basically. So yeah. And also we have the initial jobless claims, the initial and continuing jobless claims today from the U.S. So basically a lot of interesting data, a lot of small interesting data basically, which is very important, I would even say. So keep your eyes on that. So jumping into AUD CAD here, you can see that the pair so far is struggling with this 0.9457 territory. So, or should I say, the bears are struggling with that area. They want to push this pair lower. As you can see, we're trading below all of the EMAs. We are trading below the below this hurdle as well, this 0.9535 zone, which previously acted as a good area of support. Now it's seen as resistance, and if we get a clear break below this hurdle right here, then yes, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and further declines could be possible, where the next target could be right here near the 0.93 zone, marked by the low of, or should I say, the lowest point of November 2020. But until we get that break, we cannot really get comfortable with the downside. For the upside, it's pretty straightforward. A pushback above the 0.9535 territory might open the door towards some higher levels. However, we would still need to be very careful near this downside line right here. Yeah, in a way, I mean, if it pushes back above the 0.9535 zone here, then yes, higher levels could be met, guys, but only up until this downside line. USD JPY. USD JPY seems to be preparing for a move higher. However, it's still struggling with this hurdle, this 109.36 territory. I've mentioned this one previously. You can see we keep getting overshoots, but we don't really get that daily candle staying above it. So we need that nice, good, strong push above it in order to go for the next target at 109.96, or in other words, we can round it up towards the 110 territory. Excuse me. For the downside, I would prefer to maybe wait for at least a drop maybe below the 21-day EMA here, and also a drop below the 108.44 territory in order to consider some lower levels. So jumping into GBP, so yeah, the one to watch today, and so far I would say that we are at an interesting spot here. So we are trading above all of the EMAs. We are trading above above this upside line taken from the low, the 25th of September. We seem to be forming somewhat of a possible kind of flag here, bullish flag, with the pole being, if we only take these last four candles, the pole being here the 3rd of May, this little consolidation here is could be seen as a potential bullish flag. However, still a bunch of obstacles need to be overtaken first. So of course, we do have this barrier, the 1.3926 level, that I'm keeping an eye on closely because it's currently acting as a very nice area of resistance. But even if we pop above it, we still have this downside line which we need to overcome, and then we could go for some higher levels. For now, we're, like I said, we'll take a very careful approach and cautious approach. With the downside, we'll stick to this area, the 1.38 zone. A nice good drop below it could open the door towards slightly lower levels, or could lead to a bit of a larger correction here. So, but at the moment, I'm cautiously bullish on this one. But I need that break here, guys, first before, let's say, aiming for some higher levels, and of course a break of this downside line as well. Euro against the New Zealand dollar, something that I haven't looked at for quite a while, but yeah, you can see what's happening here. So basically we finally dropped below this 1.6668 territory, and yep, everything is now looking quite interesting here for the sellers. Now, if the pair continues to trade below this, then there's a good chance we could see a move towards this 1.6487 territory, marked by the low of the 18th of March, which, if of course it fails to hold, yep, we could see a break, and further declines could be possible. But at the moment, let's go step by step. Let's keep it short and simple. If we stay below the 1.6668 territory here, then yes, my next target is the 1.6487. For the upside, again, also pretty straightforward. A push above the 1.6824 territory here could do the trick for slightly more buyers, who could drive the pair towards the 1.6990 territory right here, which, as you can see so far, is acting as a very nice area of resistance. And finally, EURUSD. So still flirting with that 1.20 zone, also with that 1.1990 territory. So I'm still sticking to the same game plan, guys. I mean, not much has changed. So basically, yeah, a drop below the 1.1990 territory is required in order to go for some lower levels, and for the upside, I would prefer to wait for a push above the 1.21 territory right here in order to consider the upside. So basically, that's kind of it. I mean, there's not much to kind of cover here with the euro dollar, because again, at the moment is just stuck here and it's not really moving anywhere. So yeah, we need that clear break through one of our levels. I do understand we could be missing out here on a bit of territory on the upside, but still keep your eyes on certain lines here, guys. I mean, for example, like this one, this I've had it previously here on my chart. So yeah, I'll put it back here just for the sake of it, and that's why you see that this 1.21 territory is the one to watch, because at the same time we would already be placed above this downside line, and potentially maybe more buyers could join in. So that's why, kind of like I said, the same game plan remains, guys. Keep your eyes on these levels, and hopefully everything works out in our favor, because let's not forget that we are dealing with the markets here, and guys, always have your stop loss in place. So that's it for this session, guys. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, your comments, guys. Really do. So it means a lot to me. So if you want to catch my video later on, my traders tea time is always 12. There we go. 12:30 GMT. There we go. So there we go. I kind of started talking about the old time. So yeah, 12:30 GMT, guys. Have a look at my traders tea time. Then I'll pick up on some of the new instruments, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So thank you very much, and bye bye.